We made it.
Yay!
Yay!
I'm
All right.
I'm trying to stream live on my channel too, so hopefully it is.
Okay, awesome. Very cool. So before I forget, because you said you noticed a change on LinkedIn, before I forget, and real quick, if you ever have any feedback, good, bad, ugly, I'm more into like, hey, Tanya, I would, do this. I'm all into it because I'm not giving up yet.
No, I have noticed I probably a few weeks, maybe a month
Yep.
or almost 2 months, I've just noticed a shift in how you're presenting yourself, like badass bitch. And
Thank you.
I am on board for that. No, you are, there's a strength and a confidence that I have not seen from you. And I've always felt a confidence from you, but it's just, I don't know. Maybe I don't know if you got coaching or you changed something or whatever it is, but there has been a shift
Yes.
that I have
Thank you.
viscerally like, holy shit, man, love this. No, I'm
Thank
serious.
you. And so yes, I did get coaching, a little bit of coaching on this. So I will shout out Rob Gilbeer worked with me a little bit on my social media with, Tanya, you've got to show your strength and be more specific and not so out, not so broad. So I took his, feedback to heart. And so, yes, it's been about a month where
it's noticeable, and I'm on board for it for sure. Like I feel, hi Rachel, hi Susan, happy birthday Rachel. Oh, happy birthday.
Very cool.
You would never know if somebody didn't say that. No, I've noticed a difference and a different energy, and your message is coming across more clear. And that's a good thing. So
thank you.
Yay, Rob.
So yay, Rob. So so we just shouted out my coach, Rob. So real quick, anybody who's new to lives and is hopping on, we love knowing that you're here, and we don't know you're here unless you put a comment. Otherwise, you can be a fly on the wall and not let us know you're here. That's fine. If you want to let us know you're here, let us know, where you're from. And we want to know, did you freeze? I don't know. I hope we didn't freeze. I'm not frozen. Are you frozen, Sandra? You see anything okay?
Not that I can tell, but I love the way she says you broke the internet.
The internet. Yay!
Talking about changing the whole coaching thing. It just broke the internet.
Right. We were talking about how we were changing our messaging on LinkedIn and being, for me, changing my messaging and not being so soft about it or so broad, being more specific. So yes. And so I got some coaching on that. So yeah, it's been about a month.
I think it's so interesting because you know how everybody's talking about, hi Susan, what the fuck are you both talking about? Oh, actually, yeah. Well,
posting on LinkedIn.
Sorry, Susan. Before we started, Susan, I was just saying to Tanya that I noticed a change in her messaging on her posts, and I just felt they were much more specific, and I was like totally on board for that. And so we just continued the conversation. So we apologize for that.
Yeah. So we just keep on talking. So anyway, so here we are. Let us know you're here, where you're from. Sandra and I have a lot of things in common. One of the things is that we are both a coach. We are, have different coaching modalities, and our ideal clients are different. However, I also know, you said you were open book. We are both single women, right? And we both have a dog. She's got Boo, and I have Charlie.
And we're both around the same age too.
Yes, we are. So we have a lot in common. So, and Sandra and I have met on LinkedIn, as most of the most phenomenal people that I've met, that have been coming on and going live with me, or like Nausheen. I know you know Nausheen, right? Nausheen just did a pop-up training for my clients.
Amazing.
That was amazing, the time she gave for that. And other people have as well. Like Chris Hennessy has done 2 pop-up trainings for my clients. Shree, the video gal. And now I'm trying to get Zaneb to go live with me.
Wow. No, that's awesome. That's awesome.
So very cool LinkedIn family. But so we're talking about coaching. So how did you become a coach? I know my journey to coaching. What's your journey to coaching? And most of everybody knows my journey to coaching. So it's your turn. How did that yellow brick road land you to coaching?
Well, I mean, I'm an open book. Like I've shared my sob trauma stories. So it was probably late 50s. So I was 57-ish, and I was working online after not working for 20 years, but my husband passed away, and that was really traumatic, and I needed the job and needed to get out of the hole I was in.
And you took care of them for a long time.
Well, it was actually, it seemed like a long time because I was seeing him disintegrate day by day, but it was a year.
Well, yeah, okay.
But a lot of people last with ALS for years. Like I was just watching this, they did this special show on ALS and how they're raising money for it. And this guy has been around. He got ALS in 2017, and he's still alive. So some people can live for years, but my husband was like cane walker, wheelchair, dead in 1 year. So anyway, so moving on from that, that was 7 years ago. So July will be 7 years that he's passed away. And I had to figure out what to do. So I started working online in sales and health, which makes sense because I've been in sales on and off for like 40 years. And health is my number one priority in everything I do. So it just made complete sense. And it was so health and wellness. I was dealing with a lot of women, especially nurses, and it was during COVID. It was 2020. Yeah. And it was during COVID. And these women were exhausted, overweight, didn't know what to eat. And I became the number one salesperson in 3 weeks because I'm the same age as all these women I was speaking to over the phone. Yeah. And I just got their stories, and I got their trauma of watching people die in front of them every single day. Right. And just the trauma that they were in. But I was not, after 18 months of this, I wasn't fulfilled any longer. And I said, I want to really, really help people. So I spoke to the coaching department for this company, and I said, what do I have to do to be a part of the coaching department? And they said, you can either get a personal training certification or nutrition. And I said, well, since I don't like working out, that ain't going to happen. So, but I love cooking. I love nutrition. And I know so much about health and how to eat really well. So that just made complete sense to me.
Sure.
So I stupidly left the company right where I decided I'm going to go get my certification, and I got it in 2 months. And when you get certified as a coach, you are so freaking excited. I know. You think guys are just going to start knocking on my door, and nothing.
Tell them they will come does not work in the coaching world.
You learn the hard way. Yep. And I started on LinkedIn like a couple of months after that. So I got certified as a nutrition coach in January of 2022. And I started in April of 2022 on LinkedIn. My very first post was April 2nd. And I also at the same time was getting my life coaching because I wanted to really dig deep and really help people. Yep. So that's why I got my life coaching. And since then, this year would have been 2 years as a nutrition coach. I decided not to renew because my trajectory has changed. I'm now doing on the spiritual side, and I do grief coaching. So everything has transformed a couple of times. Yep. And I always say,
I've been witnessing your transformation on LinkedIn.
Yeah. Well, you know what? As a now 60-year-old woman, I can do whatever the fuck I want. And I don't care what anybody thinks. And I go with what's in my brain and what works for me and how I can best help people. And my evolution happened with a coach as well. I went to it was a group coaching session in September of 2022, and I said there's something missing in my business. Like I'm just not connecting with something, and I can't figure out what it is. And she asked me like 5 questions, and I became a grief coach that day.
Yeah.
She says you've been through so much trauma and so much grief in your life, aside from your husband, that it just makes sense for you to help people through this because you get it. And I go, that makes complete sense, but I didn't even think about it. Like it was weird.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to share, and a couple people that are here listening are either my current clients or a past client, and they're real estate agents. So you guys plug your ears for a minute. Just a minute. So when I left my real estate coaching corporate job, I decided I wasn't going, I really truly, you guys plug your ears. I wasn't going to coach realtors. I'm going to go coach business owners, but I'm not going to coach in the real estate industry. Part of that decision when I first made that decision was based out of fear. I thought that corporate company would come after me. So some of the decision, or a lot of the decision making, was out of fear, because we make decisions out of love or fear, right? So that was a fear-based decision. And part of it was like, I had, I don't know, 4,000 hours of coaching. I just literally last month hit 5,000 coaching hours. Yep. So I can be a master coach.
Big.
Yes. And so I thought, I'm going to coach in corporate America. I'm going to coach managers and executives. And after about a year, I'm like, yeah, it's not that. Again, you just said it. Just because I have 2 phenomenal coaching certification doesn't mean, right, that the door's open for me. And I did not have that as a history. My history was coaching in the real estate industry, lenders, brokers, team leaders, realtors. So after a year, I went, okay, and I had a coach call, and the coach, after that coach call, was like, okay, it's been a year. I don't have a non-compete anymore, right? And corporate America isn't knocking on my door. And so then I went back to coaching real estate agent in the real estate profession, and I love it. I absolutely love it. But it was, it's not fear-based anymore.
Yeah.
So anyway, I interrupted. Sorry.
No.
Totally resonated with that.
This is, well, I was just looking at it says business banter, and that's what we're doing. Yep. And this does not, we've done this show before, like a year ago. So, and if people really want to know who I am, they can go follow me on LinkedIn.
Yes. Well, yeah.
I don't really
and we have similar journeys. Like you said, I had a coach call, and 4 days later, I'm a grief coach. I have a coach call. I hire someone and say, look, I'm really struggling with decisions. I reach out to a coach who then puts me back on track with my niche. And now I'm changing all my marketing. Right. And so high five to coaches.
Yeah, I mean, and there are a lot of us, and that's why I think it's really important to have a specific. I hate, people hate the word niche, but that's basically what you did. You niche down, and I think it takes time for that to catch up. But I think I feel that strength and presence from you now, that I didn't feel that before. I felt strong as a person because I know you as a person, because we've had discussions before, but I didn't see it in the messaging, and now I see it in the messaging, and it's like there's no question.
Right, exactly. And so now hopefully there's not going to be so much, well, who does she coach and all of that. Okay, so tell me about the spiritual side. You can see how I'm just switching the topic again.
Okay.
So don't want to make it about me. Tell me about the spiritual side of your coaching. And I know, because that's new to me, and I embrace it. Like you do that once, I think it's Sundays. Correct me if I'm wrong, but on Sundays or Saturdays, don't you do a tarot card pulling?
No, I do an oracle card pulling on Saturdays.
I'm shutting up. You talk.
And I have tarot cards. I've always been a spiritual being since I was a child. I have always had this understanding that I've been here before, that I've had many lives, and I talked to myself as a kid, and I was probably talking to my spirit guides, but I didn't know, because some of us lose touch, because I'm not psychic. I have a really good intuition, but I'm not. There's Boo. Hi, say hi,
There's Boo.
Yeah, he just I cut his hair yesterday, and it is, you can see it's patchy, really, really bad. I just wanted to get it done. So anyway, that's my dog.
It's okay. He still loves you.
Yeah. So it's a theme that's happened with me. And then you go through your teenage years and this and that. And I was in a really kind of an mentally abusive relationship prior to my husband. And I was thinking to myself, why am I taking all of this? Because I'm a very strong person, and I knew what he was saying was BS, but I stayed there. And I realized looking back that I stayed there because I needed to learn something. And while we were broken up for the 14,000th time, I was just doing some evaluations in my life and going, what's going on? And I decided to go into the bookstore, and I just said, I go to the self-help spiritual section, which were combined at that time. And I said, I
Yep.
just want something to fall into and something fell off the shelf and I bought it. And that's kind of how it started. And this book I have on my desk. It's called Creative Visualization. I have 3 copies of it. It changed my life at that time, and it saved me because I was going down a road of I started a job, and the manager was sexually harassing me. My ex was saying really nasty things to me. I was attracting all of these horrible men into my life, and I said, the only thing that I can see is the pattern is me.
Yeah. Sometimes the common denominator is us.
Well, it is,
Yeah.
and that's why I believe, like, in taking responsibility for everything shitty that happens to you. The common denominator is usually you. It's your decisions. You're putting yourself in a position of weakness or vulnerability, whatever it may be. And the spiritual books that I was reading, I couldn't get enough. Like, I was devouring books. I was going into the bookstore all the time. I could have just put a couch there and just sat there. And the amount of information, it was just a connection with spirit going, I am such an amazing person. Like, what am I doing here? And I just looked at him and I'm going, what am I doing with you? I didn't say that, but I just go, I'm out. Like, I'm out.
Yeah.
And I didn't look back. And he started to buy some of the books that I was reading and
Interesting.
read them to me. And I'm going, what are you reading this to me for? Like, over the phone, like trying to get me back, I guess. I don't know. But it was so apparent that my energy completely changed, my viewpoint I became so strong within myself that I couldn't attract an asshole anymore. There's no way. Seriously. And I met my husband right after that.
Yeah.
And I know for a fact I would never, ever have looked twice at my husband had I not healed that girl that was so insecure, that used to walk with the books in front of her chest because she was flat when she was growing up, and worrying about what people thought all the time. And me, I don't even give a shit anymore.
No,
but
me neither.
It was such a powerful, so spirituality, that was in my 30s. So I was in my early 30s at that time when I met Daniel, and Daniel and I were together for 22 years. And then he unfortunately left me.
Yeah. Yes, he did.
He left. And what I've learned too is that when you're going through trauma and grief, you are less engaged with spirit because you're vibrating at such a low level, because we are made up of energy. Everything is energy.
Correct.
And once I started to heal, I could see, the signs were coming again, that I wasn't getting any signs. Like, where's Daniel? Like, why isn't he coming to say hello to me? Like, why isn't he visiting me? Why? But he was, and I found out later how he was doing it. And then I actually have 4 or 5 video recordings on my phone of him turning on phones and messaging me on this phone. Like, I actually have these videos. I've shared them with maybe 5 people. And it's like, you can hear me freaking out going, oh my God, he's writing my name. He's dialing these number. It was bizarre. And that was in 2020. So it was around the time I was working online, and he was communicating through the phone around our anniversary, which was our 20th anniversary, and around Christmas, which is also his birthday. So 2 times. And then once I said, look, I get it. It's you. Please don't do this anymore. Go. Like, I didn't want him to stay. I wanted him to move on. So I told him that I'm good. I understand it's you. It's clear. I got the message.
Yeah.
Good. And then the phone went back to normal. Like, I couldn't even use the phone. Like, he had jammed it and I couldn't use it. And then the phone went back to normal and everything was fine again once I told him to go. And that was pretty much the last time I had a major, like a electronic connection. So that was my experience. Hi, Susanna.
Hey, Susanna.
Just got back from a walk through Brook. Athena and Lady Guardian say hello. Yay, all my friends. Thank you, Susanna. That was so nice. Yeah, so that was just a few years ago, and then I let it all go, and I got my certifications, and I was focusing on my grief coaching and all that stuff. And then I got coached by Geraldine Spurway, who's also on LinkedIn. She's an amazing, very spiritual, very aligned. And she said to me, Sandra, you are not a grief coach. And I was like, what? She says, have so much great energy. You can't be talking about grief and trauma all the time because that's not who you are. Like, you're a life coach and you can do grief coaching, but you're not a grief coach. And I was like, oh, so that kind of helped me just be more connected with who I am at soul level.
Right.
But last November, so this is how I started what I'm doing now. Last November, I saw someone else on LinkedIn who was reading the Akashic records, and I'm going, oh my God, I haven't heard the word Akashic in 20 years. And I'd heard about this Akashic records, and I was like, I'm in. I gotta go. I gotta get this done. And so I got it done in November, and it was the most transformational hour of many years put together. It was just, I found out who I am at soul level, why I am the way I am, why I feel the way I feel about certain things, why I feel so different from other people. It just made my life make sense to me in a way that nothing else had. Right. Even though I'd done a lot of work, and, I was, 59 at the time, it's like, I know who I am.
Yeah. And that's about when I saw you change your LinkedIn profile, right? So things started to change for you, right? So for anybody who doesn't know, and please ask questions, explain what that is. When you talk about Akashic, what does that mean?
Okay, the Akashic records, if you look it up on Google or whatever, there's a lot of different interpretations, but the basic one is that it's a metaphorical library of our past, present, and future lives. So it has all of our information from all of our lives that we've ever lived before. So even whether you believe it or not, it doesn't mean it's not true. So it's just like,
correct.
But it seems kind of weird, but it makes sense. It made sense to me completely. Like, it just kind of like, not put a bow on it, but it just kind of made everything in my life make sense, and my past lives. It made everything make sense to me. So basically, I read the Akashic records now. Like, I took a course and I got semi-certified. I'm actually not 100% certified yet because I still have 3 people that I haven't had time to do yet because I've been doing paid clients, which is nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, basically we create blocks and restrictions in our past lives, and we bring those patterns into this life. So a lot of times you find people who are going out with the same guy all the time, like the same, not the same person, but the same type of person.
Yes.
And going into these are called karmic patterns. And so I can see why those patterns started, and we can break that pattern. And then we do something, and we do a clearing. And then if you understand why you created it in the first place, then it's much easier to break the pattern. And that's kind of what happens in it. But I can only see what your soul allows me to see. So if you are open, it's much easier. If you're closed, I can see as much as I'm allowed to see. But I have to ask a lot of questions. It takes me probably 4 to 6 hours to get the information. And then I present for an hour. So it doesn't seem like it's a lot, but it's a lot of work on the other side.
Sure. Yes. Well, and coaching, any kind of coaching, hopefully, is a lot of work on the other side. A lot of people don't realize what, like for me, when I'm creating roadmaps for my clients for the next month, and I've coached some of my clients, some of my clients are new. Some of my clients I've had 4, 5, 6 years, but I'm always working a month ahead for them. Like before the next month, I go through my entire client list. It's like, okay, what's their roadmap going to look like? And where do I need to go to take them? Doesn't mean they always take the journey with me though. Right. Like you say, how open are you? Right. Or how trusting or whatever that is. But Yes, we do a lot of work on the back end. We don't just show up for a coach call, right? It just doesn't work. I
Right.
hope not. I mean, if there's a coach out there that can do that, I want to. Well, I don't know if I'd hire them. So there you go.
Yeah, well, but you don't know, right? And
Yeah.
that's the thing about social media, is that people are getting to know us
Right.
this way, you know. And I used to, like, again, bad girl, you know, I used to do videos every single week. I haven't done a video for months.
No, I
And
know.
it's not good. Like, I need to shake it up. And so that's another thing I'm going to be working on in the next month or so.
Okay, so how do we hold each other accountable? Because I am not afraid to do video. I do video. I get lax. And I'll say, okay, I'll do my videos tomorrow. And then so tomorrow is today. And today my daughter says, hey mom, can you come help with the baby? So I go, she spits up all over me. I come home, change, and now here we are. Right?
That happened today. That happened today, people.
Yep, that's today, right? And I'm thinking, okay, before we go live, I'm going to do a few videos because I'm right here, sitting here at the computer. Nope, I was cleaning up, grandbaby vomit. So,
well,
anyway.
I am really, I've been writing about accountability a lot lately, because I've done a lot of changes. So I started a Mel Robbins 6-month cohort course for accountability reasons. So my first project is working on my email sequence, which I had done, but it was after 5, and it was like, I didn't do anything after that. So anybody that was on my email list got 5 emails. And then I said, we'll see you later. You know, so it's like, so
it is a lot. There is a lot out there.
Yeah.
It is a lot. And then, and so same thing, like, and if you have any questions, Rachel says launch.
Right, Rachel. Yes. Are you in it, Rachel? Are you in that? How do you know about it?
Oh, well, my clients, I will talk about, Mel Robbins has a book, the 5-second rule. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Yeah. We do that.
I read it.
Yep.
And the high five, and I just started. Yeah. So I started May 13th, Rachel. And so my first project is the email sequence. And then my second project might be video. I haven't decided yet, but I have to do 3 projects in 6 months. So, but that's really helping me because I have the support, and she's amazing. You know, like, she goes live once a week, and
she does.
And it's like 2 hours, but an hour and a half of that is coaching. Like, she actually coaches us for like an hour and a half, and is like, it's very impressive. I like, for the money that I
like
spent,
her a lot.
I spent thousands of dollars on a business coach the first year that I started coaching. Waste of freaking money. Like, it was horrible. I said, I'm not going back to you. I'll pay you, but leave me alone. I don't want to talk to you anymore. It did nothing for me. But within just a few days of Mel, it was like, oh my God, like, I get it. She gets people. It makes sense. You feel obliged, even though she's not like on you, you know. Like, it's like soft accountability works for me. It works really well for me.
Yeah. Yes. And so, yes. And as I'm throwing it out into the universe, I would love to be on her podcast as a guest. So
you never know.
You never know. So one of my challenges this year from my coach was to get on 5 podcasts. And as most people know, I'm pretty competitive. So I have, and it's only June, but I have been on 5 podcasts. So, as a guest. So yes, now I want to be on Ed Milet's podcast and Mel Robbins.
Good.
That's right. And you too.
Rachel. Yeah. Rachel did, the first launch last year, I think. I think she's done. Yeah. So, I think that when you set your mind to something, it will happen, you know, and especially you did it already, and that's all you have to do. And I think that she is amazing, and she'd love you. Yeah, she would. Yeah, she should do, like, you know, LinkedIn coaches.
Yep. There you go. That would be great. There we go. Right. Well, we're going to have to get that out there. Okay. Everybody listening, let everybody message Mel, please.
tag her in this hashtag.
Tag her, get on Instagram, right? Let her know that she needs to do a session with coaches, right? Because that would be really fun. So I know that typically I go live for a half an hour and we've already been a half an hour. So does anybody listening have any questions? We are really good at watching the chat. So please ask us any questions. How do people find you?
Well, I am really only on LinkedIn now, so
Yeah.
just LinkedIn is good. You know, I have a YouTube channel with, I think I have about 70 videos that are just sitting there. It's like a library. And you know how many DMs you get with, oh, you got this YouTube, it's just sitting there, it's doing crap.
Yeah.
I know, it's just, I'm not ready to go there yet. I've got so much on my plate that I can just do so much. You know, I've never been on Instagram. I'm not on Twitter. I'm not on Threads. I'm on Facebook for family and friends, at which they never see me. I just go in there. I'm alive today. That's
There
all
you
I do.
go. That's good.
So,
Yes.
you know, there's
Yeah.
only so much bandwidth I have. And
Yeah.
so, but
Yeah.
I might do a podcast eventually. I might do something like that. I don't know. I haven't decided, but right
Well,
now I'm working on my Catholics.
Sandra, if I were you, I'd keep an eye out, with the LinkedIn post, because there's quite a few people that'll say, I'm looking for a guest. I'm looking for a guest, and raise your hand. You're awesome live.
I have
And
I've never asked to be on anyone's show. And it might be something down the road, like,
yeah.
because I mean, Shamila Ayer, she's trying to get me to write a book, because I do have a lot to say, but
Mhm.
that's again bandwidth. So
I know, and you're right. Same thing. Like I have a YouTube, and I store all my things on YouTube, and I do get a lot of emails and messages saying, "Hey, you're not doing YouTube right. Let me manage your YouTube." And it is too much. It's the same thing with like the clients I coach. It's like, no, you don't need to be doing 55 things all at once. Let's focus on one or two. And same thing with you. And for me, it's like,
yeah,
no, I'm on Facebook and LinkedIn. My Facebook feeds into Instagram, but my primary focus right now is LinkedIn, and so I'm on a mission to get more realtors on LinkedIn. Is technically what I'm doing now.
yeah.
So yeah,
And
we got to get there.
I keep sending them your way because as I
Thank
said, I
you.
know a bunch, and
Yeah.
I love what you're doing, and I'm really glad I did this, even though I said it's 4 o'clock. I don't know if I'll be awake, but
And so I
really,
want to say thank you, because yes, I know same thing with me. The going live in the next few months will go earlier for me, because yes, I start coaching at 6:30 in the morning, and by now I'm like, okay, I'm tired,
Is
right?
there a day do you take a day off, like, ever? Like, maybe you should have one day where you're not coaching and you do,
I do. Sundays, I don't coach on Sundays, and I do have a strict boundary that I have never not honored. I coach Saturdays, and some of my clients that coach on Saturday mornings actually really, they're so grateful that I will, because I coach one gal who has two young kids, and so she knows her husband will take her kids Saturday so she can have a coach call that's not interrupted, right? Or distracting. But I have a boundary. I'll do a 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock in the morning coach call, and then that's it on Saturday. So those three slots on Saturdays are open, and I typically fill them. But yeah, Sunday is a day off for me. And so, full transparency, I know I'm an overachiever. I'm very competitive. And so those are great attributes until they're not, right?
Yeah,
Until I go into the dark side of them.
yeah.
And I have to keep a close watch on myself to say, okay, Tanya, stop, go to the pool and swim, go to the beach and walk Charlie, because I can just go on and on and on and work, and I have to stay not go into the, kryptonite side of my
Self-care.
overachiever. Yep.
Self-care. We talk
Yep.
about it a lot on LinkedIn, and it really, and
Yep.
I prioritize it too. Like, weekends, I really, that are really mine. They're mine.
Yep.
And I don't do coaching for anybody. But I love the fact that you do, and if it works for you, it works for you. But if you have one day like Sunday, if you don't work on Sunday, and you don't ever change that, because we
Yep.
all need to have our boundaries, and we
We
need to
do.
recharge. And sometimes one day isn't enough.
No, sometimes one day isn't enough. And again, it's the same thing with social media. I don't want to go on social media on Sundays. It's like I do see people, and I don't criticize or judge anybody who posts on Sundays. I don't. However, I don't want to go there. I
Then
don't want to
don't.
go on LinkedIn on Sundays, and I
Well,
don't.
I actually for the first half of this year, I'm not talking this month or last month, but from January to April, I was only posting 3 to 4 days a week, and it was working fine for me. And lately, I've been saying for some reason I've just been getting these ideas, so I've been posting pretty much every day. And I started on Sunday 3 weeks ago, and not this last Sunday, but the Sunday before, my post went viral for me.
I
Not viral.
know. I bet.
And
Yeah.
I was like, what the, it didn't happen this week. So I was like, oh, I guess, I don't know. Like, honestly, I have no idea what happened, but it was like what I usually do in a week, I did it in a day. And I was like, what the hell? I'm going to post on Sundays. And then it didn't happen again. I'm like, well, I have no idea.
Yep.
I'm
Yeah.
the same person. I know it was a personal story, but whatever.
Well, and personal stories are very impactful. And I do know I need to do that more often. Post some personal stories. When you post Boo or I post Charlie, right, I get a lot of interaction, or my
Of course.
granddaughter, and I have granddaughters now, and blows me away. Anyway,
Yeah.
all right. So thank you everybody for coming and saying hello. And Sandra, thank you so much. And
Thank you.
do me a favor, since you and I cannot type into the chat, when this does go on LinkedIn, put your information or just tag yourself in there so they can find you easier. Okay.
Okay.
All right, everybody. Thank
Sounds
you for
good.
showing up.